And welcome back to Altcoin Buzz with me, Leah Heilpen, to our brand new interview segment, Altcoin Buzz Spotlight. If you enjoy this segment, then drop us a comment below telling us who you want us to interview next week, and don't forget to hit the like button as it helps us grow our channel. Joining us today is Roger Ver, the CEO of Bitcoin.com, an early investor of Bitcoin back in 2011, and now a promoter of Bitcoin Cash. Roger, so great to have you on the program today. How are you doing?
Great. Glad to be with you from at home like everybody else in the world, probably.
I know, absolute madness. And speaking of all this madness, we've seen how the virus has affected the markets, and we've seen central banks just print more money to try and fight this crisis. Now, you have said that that's not necessarily the answer. You said that more money doesn't make the world a richer place. So you have to tell us more about this.
Yeah, so basically the governments have shut down a big chunk of the entire world's economy. So the entire world's economy is shrinking. And so, yeah, the money printing may be good for cryptocurrency specifically, but they're going to have a bigger share of an overall pie that's smaller. So it's good for cryptocurrency, but bad for the world as a whole. I would love to see the entire world's economy growing, and then cryptocurrency's share within that growing pie growing as well. And right now we have the entire pie shrinking, and maybe cryptocurrency's share of that pie increasing. And that's fun for cryptocurrency, but it's still bad for the world. So.
And it's interesting though, because you're not the first person, I've spoken to that happens to say, well, this is not great. People are concerned. But is this therefore an argument for crypto right now?
And the argument for crypto has always been that it's beyond the control of a bunch of politicians or central bankers, right? So it's based on the laws of mathematics, whereas central banks, you don't know what they're going to do this week, next month, next year. You have no idea. And who would have guessed a couple of months ago that the entire world would be, forced to be staying in their homes and not being allowed to go to work? Nobody would have been able to predict that. Whereas at least with cryptocurrencies, we know how many of them there are going to be of each type this week, this month, next year. There's much more certainty with that sort of thing. And markets love stability. They don't like uncertainty. And we're seeing plenty of uncertainty in the world at the moment.
Absolutely. And speaking of uncertainty, there have been some reports from Candor that Bitcoin.com, because of everything, had to lay off 50% of their staff. So you have actually said this isn't quite true. Can you comment further on this?
Yeah, so we did lay off some people last month, but if you look at last year at this time to this year at this time, we're right about the same level. I think we have like 5 people less this year than we did last year. But last year, from a year before that, we like doubled the head count. So it's not a problem at all. And media, bad news loves to, bad news sells. People love to promote, sensationalism and bad news. So, let them do that and they can get their clicks and they can earn their money. But anybody that's smart and paying attention can see that Bitcoin.com's product line and our reach within the ecosystem and the ability of, the tools that we've enabled to allow people around the world to interact with each other permissionlessly. Those are growing week after week. And we have amazing things like the Bitcoin Cash Register app, local.bitcoin.com, that allows anybody in any country to buy or sell any amount of Bitcoin Cash for any payment method anywhere in the world. It's just exploding in China, right? They're so eager to use that with their WeChat and Alipay. We have the Bitcoin.com wallet that's had more than 11 million wallets created on that platform. So we're definitely headed in the right direction.
Okay, so just some FUD and I guess, like you said, sensationalism over there. So just sticking with Bitcoin Cash for the minute, because we have seen it fall from 71% back in February. It was around $488, and it dropped down to $140 in March. It is back up, creeping back up. Just like a lot of things right now, we've seen the stocks creeping back up and Bitcoin too. So the halving aside, just for the minute, why is it creeping back up?
I think and that's the nature of cryptocurrencies. The overall market caps are still very small. The number of people participating are small in relation to the rest of the world. So the price is always volatile. Like, I've been involved in this space almost 10 years. It's hard to think of a time when the price wasn't very volatile. So I don't pay attention to the price in the short run. The price is driven by the long-term fundamentals of its usefulness for people in their real daily lives. And so I'm trying to build all the tools to make Bitcoin Cash and all cryptocurrencies useful for people in their daily lives. So I don't care which cryptocurrency it is at the end of the world, or at the end of the day, as long as at the end of the day it empowers people all over the world to have control over their own money and not need permission from governments or central banks or politicians to do what they want with their money. That's the goal, and that's what we're trying to build at Bitcoin.com.
So just looking long term then, we have of course had the halving this week for Bitcoin Cash. It rallied by 12% on Wednesday. So looking long term, what do you think the effect is going to be on the price, and what other effects can we expect to see because of this?
Like everything in the world, the price is set by supply and demand. And so my long-term goal is to increase the demand for Bitcoin Cash and all cryptocurrencies by making them more useful to people in their daily lives. And the way you make them more useful to people in their daily lives is by building tools that enable them to do something useful. So another fun example of that is a website called purse.io. Anybody in the US or the UK or a bunch of places around the world can save 20% off every single purchase from Amazon by using Bitcoin Cash over at purse.io. I mean, that's a really significant savings. A $100 item now costs $80, or a 100-pound item now costs 80 pounds. That's a really big deal, and a real reason for people around the world to start using Bitcoin Cash and digital currencies in general.
So just comparing those digital currencies there and just sticking with the halving. So Coinmetrics data actually suggests that miners might be seeking refuge in Bitcoin, given the Bitcoin halving is later in May. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think there could be any concern here for Bcash?
Maybe the hash rate ebbs and flows with the price. So if Bitcoin Cash has 5% of the overall price of the SHA-256 mineable coins, it'll have 5% of the hash rate in the long term. So I'm not worried about it at all. It's not any sort of an issue. And I think the real issue is, let's make these cryptocurrencies useful for people around the world to engage in real commerce and not need permission from their bank or their government or anybody else for that matter. That's the goal. The hash rate is just I don't know, kind of a little side part of that overall picture.
And we've spoken a lot about the usability, but looking at Bitcoin Cash specifically, what can we expect from Bitcoin.com in the next 6 months?
The big things that we have is we've launched mint.bitcoin.com, so anybody can make their own token on top of the Bitcoin Cash network in like 20 seconds. And then you can send and receive those tokens around with anyone anywhere in the world. But the really cool tool in addition to that is you can now make dividend payments to all those token holders. So the tokens can act like anonymous bearer shares that anybody in the world can use. So I think we're going to see more and more things tokenized on top of the Bitcoin Cash blockchain because of that. And we saw the big announcement recently that Tether, right, the number one stablecoin and arguably the number one cryptocurrency in the world, is coming to Bitcoin Cash, and it'll be an SLP token on top of Bitcoin Cash imminently. So I'm really excited to do that. And another really cool thing that's not imminent, but it's already being worked on. You can go to anyhedge.com. Basically, you'll be able to have tokens on top of Bitcoin Cash, or smart contracts on top of Bitcoin Cash, that are pegged to any real world asset, and the price will stay in lockstep with those things, but you don't have to trust an outside custodian for those assets. The only underlying asset that tracks the price is the Bitcoin Cash token itself. So that's a really, really big deal, and a really, really cool thing that I don't know of having been done on any other chain yet. So anyhedge.com, I believe, is that website. They just announced that project real recently, and that's definitely one to be keeping an eye on.
And any more blockchain projects that have taken your interest recently?
I love our Bitcoin Cash Register app. It allows anybody in the world to start accepting Bitcoin Cash in like 30 seconds. And so we're seeing more and more adoption of that all over the world. And I find that a really useful tool for people around the world to start engaging in commerce. And you don't have to worry about PayPal or Visa or Bank of America shutting you down. With Bitcoin Cash, it's for everybody, and it works across the world right now today. You don't have to wait 18 months or even 18 minutes.
And just finally, Roger, I want to get your thoughts on privacy tokens like Zcash, zcoin, Monero. What are your thoughts?
I hold all of those because they're great coins. I'm a big fan of privacy coins. But another really cool thing that's coming to Bitcoin Cash, and hopefully we'll have it integrated into the Bitcoin.com wallet later this year, is this thing called Cash Fusion, which basically allows every Bitcoin Cash holder using the Bitcoin.com wallet, or you can get it right now today for desktop. You don't have to wait at all for desktop. It shuffles up your Bitcoin Cash with everybody else's Bitcoin Cash and makes your Bitcoin Cash right there in the same ballpark of privacy with a Monero or a Zcash or a zcoin. The number of potential combinations of shufflings with your Bitcoin Cash with other Bitcoin Cash holders is more than the total number of atoms in the entire universe. So that's a really, really, really big number. So the NSA or the tax authorities or anybody else are going to have a really hard time doing their blockchain analytics on people that are using this tool. And I can't wait to build it right into the Bitcoin.com wallet for Bitcoin Cash.
So some really interesting use cases there. Now, earlier we were chatting and you told me to download the Bitcoin Cash wallet just to show me how we can send money, send crypto through from wallet to wallet simply through Skype.
Yep, so we made this really cool new tool that we just launched a week or two ago at gifts.bitcoin.com that allows you to generate a whole bunch of private keys that actually have Bitcoin Cash on them. And then you can send an image of those private keys, via email or text message or over Facebook Messenger or over Skype. Or what we're going to do right here is I printed up a whole bunch of them. I have here there are 20 different private keys with $5 worth of Bitcoin Cash at each one. So the first 20 people that scan these will each get $5 worth of Bitcoin Cash. So it literally went from my phone to the printer to print out here. And now I'm going to hold it up real nice and close so you can scan each and every one of these. I ask that each person just claim it once, right? Don't be greedy and hog them all. Let everybody get some here. But each one of these.
And just to be clear, they need the Bitcoin Cash app, right?
Yeah, so you need the Bitcoin.com wallet or any cryptocurrency wallet that can scan a private key. So I know for sure the Bitcoin.com wallet can, and I'm sure other ones can as well. The one I use the most every day, though, of course, is the Bitcoin.com wallet. So anyhow, there they were, $100 total, $25 private keys, just like that. From I'm here in St. Kitts at the moment. That's going to go out to anyone anywhere in the world that scans those. And then for the person that waited the longest, I have one more here, a special one that has 10 US dollars on this one. We saved the best for last right there. And if you want to make your own like these, you just head on over to gifts.bitcoin.com and you can use these as paper tips to give out to people at restaurants or trick-or-treaters or in the donation basket at church, like anything, anywhere and everywhere. And the really cool part about it is Bitcoin.com never touches the money. Bitcoin.com never has the private keys. But Bitcoin.com keeps a signed copy of the transaction that can send the money back to whatever address you specify at the time you make these. So if the person that you gave this to that was trick-or-treating at your house doesn't claim it, the money will come back to you after however many days you set, even though Bitcoin.com never has custody of the funds, never touches the money. They just broadcast the transaction that sends the money back to you. So it's a really cool way to be able to spread Bitcoin Cash adoption around the world without having to worry about the Bitcoin Cash ever being lost. If the person you gave it to doesn't claim it, that's okay. It comes back to you later. So it's a really great way. Gifts.bitcoin.com.
And I have to admit, it is super exciting. We did this at a conference nearly a year ago now, and within seconds, it just sends straight over. So very, very exciting. Roger, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show with us today.
My pleasure as well. I thank you so much and see you next time. And subscribe and share this video as well. This is a great channel.